I mean, I remember when Republicans were the party of states' rights, right? DC's a little different, it ain't no state. But the other cities that are talking about, those are in states where there are governors, where there are laws and how those governors are able to handle what's going on in their cities. That doesn't seem to be the case. What happened to states' rights? Where's that at?
I mean, the Republican Party isn't necessarily known for ideological consistency here, right?
Oh, what do you mean?
I know that's
well, at least not anymore.
Not anymore. But yeah, I mean, the interesting part of this is that this is clearly not about crime, right? Because if you look at Axios just did a study, right? 13 of the 20 U.S. cities with the highest homicide rates are in Republican states. And guess who isn't naming those Republican states? Donald, right? There's three things that these states have in common, these cities, right? Blue cities, blue states, black mayor. It's like they ran it through a chat GPT prompt. It was like, give me back the states, the cities that have these parameters, right? Because as we see, D.C. has a declining, violent crime rate, 30-year low, 26% down from this time last year to right now, right? And obviously with these National Guard troops and generally, it's illegal for them to do any civilian law enforcement, right, under the Posse Comitatus Act, right? So he's pushing the envelope here on that front, as Miles has outlined. But generally, it's authoritarian spectacle because he feels weak right now. And I really think that's important to frame. This man has a 37% approval rating in the latest Gallup, right? And this is 3 points away from his post-January 6th low of 34%. So Donald Trump is 3 points away from being at his absolute political low. Right? So that's the context from which this is happening. He's doing this authoritarian spectacle to deflect from his mounting scandals, to deflect from his weakening.
And the party's backing him.
And the party is backing him because they think they can make up for those losses through the gerrymandering.
Well, talk about, Ahmed, the danger of the possibility that things get ratcheted up just by the sheer presence of those folks there with not having extra weapons on their body.
That's a really smart observation because what he's trying to do is provocation. Right? Donald Trump needs crises. He needs to manufacture crises in order to expand power. You know, as Miles noted, with the invocation of the Insurrection Act, that would bypass the Posse Comitatus Act. And in order to do that, lies can only take him so far. He's hoping that with this presence of these troops, he likes, the protests this weekend were peaceful, and the No Kings protests were peaceful. He's hoping for a George Floyd 2020-like situation in D.C. where he can then use that to manufacture another emergency so we can expand power, because what we're seeing is that he governs by emergency, not by popular mandate, right?
And he gets to define the emergency.
Exactly. He just declares, I hereby declare emergency, and that gets to do whatever he wants, right? But in reality, there is no crime emergency that can't be handled by local law enforcement. There was no emergency at the border used to deport these innocent migrants to CCOT. There was no emergency to justify the tariffs. But that's what he uses to expand power. So that's what we should look out for here.
You know what?